Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Jamie here. Thanks very much for joining me in today's video. For those of you tuning in via my group, drop a hashtag live if you happen to be on the live, hashtag replay if you happen to catch the replay. And for everyone joining me via YouTube, welcome to the channel first and foremost. My name's Jamie. This is the first time here. Welcome. I'm a full-time affiliate, digital ad strategist, and I'm a coach for a program. Got over 600 students, absolutely crushing it with their affiliate marketing business. And if you'd like to learn more about that, I'll leave a link in the descriptions. Of course, feel free to hit the subscribe button if you're interested in learning more about my business and how I can help you out as well. Right. So a couple of things I wanted to talk about today. First one is, I guess, a business decision for the Super Affiliate Accelerator. Some of you guys might have seen what we posted out around lately, but closing the doors on the Super Affiliate Intensive. That's our front end product, which is $100. If you haven't jumped on board that, you're interested in checking that out, the cart is going to close, I think, Sunday our time, if I'm not mistaken. So let's say 4 to 5 days away, I think. Yes, say 4 days. And if you're in my group and you're interested in more info on that, check out the pinned post. There's a whole bunch of bonuses you can get for jumping on board that. It is going to be the last opportunity for that. Hey, Quinn, how's it going? Good to see you. Emily, how you doing? So if that's of interest, feel free to jump on that. I'm not going to go into the reasons specifically here, but the product was being abused, and given that we pay out a fairly high percentage in commission, it is no longer sustainable from a business standpoint, and decided to go elsewhere in terms of the direction for the immediate future. Anyway, I don't know if we're going to be replacing that with a low ticket front end offer. I'm not entirely sure just yet how that's going to unfold. But again, if you are interested in learning more about that and jumping on that while it's still available, it's arguably a ton more value than the $100 investment to jump on it. So that's in the pinned post there. All right, second thing I wanted to discuss is something that I've started watching videos thanks to Jacob, who's been forwarding me a few recently from a guy called Alex Hormoza, I think, who's done a whole bunch of cool stuff with ClickFunnels and has a fairly successful business helping gyms with their marketing and getting basically full membership, all that sort of stuff. And so one of the things he was talking about, and it's sort of echoed the SAA live weekly call that we did the other day, where Jacob, for those of you that missed it, Jacob jumped in the last couple of moments, and we were talking about that whole thing of people see others and they see the expertise others have when it comes to business, and of course they want to fast track their progress. But what they're forgetting is that the people that became experts in a field, they didn't start off like that. They had to crunch through numbers. They had to crunch through practice, through repetition, through cold calls if that's your jam, like all that stuff. It's not like they all of a sudden jumped in and were an expert at something. And I think the way that the affiliate space gets advertised a lot of the time, it kind of like implies that you can bypass a lot of that sort of like crunch work. I don't know how else to put it. It's just, you got to crunch the numbers, right? So it sort of makes the implication that you can just bypass a lot of that. And that's the way that the whole industry gets sold a lot of the time. But the reality is that you have to go through the mud. You have to go through that process. And the only way you can sort of speed up the process in terms of getting automations or mentoring from people that have gone through that pathway with before you, but you still have to put in the groundwork in order to build your business, in order to build the foundations of your business. And the only way to do that realistically is to just crunch through those numbers, crunch through those repetitions in order to become expert at something. You can't just be an expert from doing theory. You actually have to go through it yourself. So that was the key takeaway. I was watching one of his videos, and he had something called the Rule of 100. And so it's referring to gyms, and he's basically saying, well, if you are messaging and you're cold outreaching to 100 people a day, you cannot not make sales. If you do that for like 50 days, 90 days straight, like you cannot not make sales. It's as simple as that. And even if you suck, you're the worst salesperson in the world. If you think about that from a numbers perspective, over the course of like say I don't even know what that is, but if you're doing, let's be conservative, let's go 50 per day times, I don't know, 30 days, you got what, to 1,500, no, is that right, 1,500 people that you've connected with over that time frame. That might be a bit more than that. I don't really know. Funnily enough, I suck at mathematics, but anyway, you get the point. There's a whole bunch of people that you've connected with. And so I think a lot of people, when they jump into this online thing, especially if you're doing organic marketing in particular, and the question often arises, are you building your audience? Are you making offers? And are you getting in front of people and giving yourself the opportunity? And so another thing that was highlighted from the call in SA yesterday was Jacob had actually just jumped off a coaching call himself, and the topic came up, which was, I don't know whether this Google Doc that I've created for my offer is converting. And the question then was, well, how many people have seen it? To which the person replied, 4. It's like, not enough data, right? So how are you going to know if that's going to convert? So instead of like getting all upset about whether something's not working or it is working, ask yourself the question, are you willing to go through the swamp in order to get to the other side, and go through the valley, go through all that stuff, the learning curve, the actual doing, in order to get to the other side, in order to get those types of results that you see and what sometimes appears like an overnight success. A lot of the time people aren't taking into consideration the thousands of hours people put into practice, into making themselves better, into learning stuff, into investing in themselves. And what gets shown and what gets advertised a lot of the time is just that instant bang, I started this thing and now I'm a trillionaire. But you kind of, I guess, forget all the mistakes along the way. Even in my own story, it's probably not as compelling as a lot of them out there, but I was in financial troubles. I went bankrupt 2015. I had a mountain of personal debt. I was suicidal and very, very depressed for a long time. And things got better. And I was still determined. I was either going to die or I was going to make this whole online thing work. That was basically the decision I made. And then even in 2019, when I was trying to pivot my business from running an agency, which I had actually gained some success in, which was kind of cool, but I was trying to pivot that to affiliate marketing. Even then, I found myself broke. So in late 2019, with $84 in my account, and I'm not painting it like this hard luck, woe is me. Like, life was still pretty good. Like, it's anyway. But what I'm saying is that people forget the 7 years of crunching it out, like day after day, trying to work out how to make this whole online thing work for 7 years up until that point when, one day I had $84 in my account, and then 7 days later I had my first $1,000 sale, followed by another one, followed by 10K months, followed by, now I'm, 27, 28K months, type thing. And it's like, people see that and like, oh my God, that's amazing. It is. And I'm like, I get overwhelmed with joy, with gratitude for that. But don't forget the 7 fucking years prior to that, like the 9 years before that, that I was trying to do stuff. 7 years before I got my big breakout, another 2 years go by before I start having any decent success. And that's what people forget. So anyway, big takeaways, work your butt off. And the organic stuff, by the way, you don't get stuck doing the organic stuff. You don't have to keep like going and reaching out to 500 bloody people a day or whatever it is, right? You don't get stuck doing that. It's just a way for you to build that momentum and that clout. And if you can build that and build it in rapid succession, because you're like working your butt off doing this stuff, that is going to grow. That snowball is going to grow. It's like pushing a snowball up the hill to start with because it's fucking heavy, and then you push it down and it builds up more snow, more momentum, more snow along the way, right? And it blows up. But then when you get to that point, that's when you start offloading some of the tasks that are non-revenue generating, the things that realistically you start elevating. So you start focusing on the things that do bring in revenue, that are good for your business, and you push away all the tasks that are menial, that are admin. Because when you're starting off, here's the other thing. The brochures don't bloody well tell you this, but when you're starting off, you're a jack of all trades and you have to be a master of all of them. Like, you have to be the salesperson, you have to be the marketer, the content creator, you have to be the person that does all the stuff, right? And that is the hardest part. But then once you get over that certain point, like I say, you can ease the burden on yourself by offloading some of those non-revenue producing tasks. or if they're not necessarily non-revenue, perhaps it's just that your creative energy is better focused elsewhere. So that's it. Really just wanted to hammer home those points. Like, you got to go through the mud, go through the swamp, or whatever you want to call it, or the crunch. I don't know why I keep saying that. It's just stuck in my head. And that's it. But then you ease off after that. You find other ways. You outsource, you scale, you do whatever. And then the problem is, because of that huge gap, again, people only see the success. They don't see the swamp that you've trekked through and gone, oh, it sucks. I hate swamps. Anyway, that's it. Thanks very much for joining me, guys. Appreciate you tuning in. Thanks for all the comments there as well. You guys are awesome. Have an awesome day, and see you guys really soon. Cheers.